Check 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate? Yes! Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need. Get over the fear and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello, Michael Quarles with podcast number 21. Hey, I was just interviewed yesterday or the day before, can't remember, by Joe Fairless. He has his own podcast, and he sent me the podcast. I thought it was pretty cool. I wanted to share it with you folks. Hope you enjoy. It's only about 15 minutes long or so it'll be a quick listen. You guys have a great day. Talk to you soon. Thanks so much.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Doing well. Excited to have you on the show. Michael is the founder of I Buy Houses, Ugly Ones Too, ! And of the successful direct mail company YellowLetters.com. He is a direct mail expert and a real estate expert as well. He has closed on close to over 1,000 deals or more over his 34 years of real estate investing, and he started at a young age of 19 years old. So he has been in the business and has a lot of experience to share with us, and really excited to hear his advice as we progress. So with that being said, Michael, can you give the best ever listeners a little bit more background on your experience and what you're focused on now?
Currently, I'm focused on wholesaling, which is different than wholesaling or assigning or rehab flipping or passive income earning. So what basically I do the same thing a wholesaler does. So I put a house under contract at 60 cents on the dollar. Instead of selling it at a reduced value, I'm actually selling it at 100% value, and I sell it in the as-is condition. Most of the transactions are cash transactions to other investors, and it's a great business model for me because I don't have to be in Home Depot at 6:30 every morning getting 2x4s and toilets. I can turn my cash faster. Because our business is really just all about marketing and negotiation. And once we have a good handle on those two things, the low-hanging fruit seems to fall in our basket. So rather than turning that fruit into something else, most people want to take it and rehab it and fix it up, make it pretty. I just sell it to someone who wants to, but I get all the profit dollar. So I find that attractive.
Help me understand that a little bit more. If you're buying it on 60 cents on the dollar, selling it for retail, so $1 on the dollar, but you said that you're selling it to other investors. So what are they doing to make money on their end?
Well, we're assuming that we're normal. And we're meaning that, probably most of the folks that are listening and you and I, we're not normal. Most normal investors hire a real estate professional to sell them a house that they can rent out at 100% or 105% of value. And they're fine with that. That's the traditional way of buying investment property. What we do when we go out there and buy a reduced value investment property is not traditional. It happens to be how we do it, but it's not normal. And because I know the vast majority of investors hire real estate professionals and spend 100% on the dollar, 105, I want to sell my property to that person. And so that person's going to rehab it, remodel it, whatever they think they need to do to it. Some of them are in okay condition so they can be occupied immediately. But that person, that guy or gal, is going to have passive income. They're going to have the write-off that they get. But they're not looking for an equity base. They're looking for a total tax base. And since that's the normal person, that's who I want to sell my property to. And there are more of them out there than there are of us. So why not sell it to them?
Who is the typical seller that you purchase the property from? How do you find them, and how do you communicate to them so that they sell it to you?
Probably what's typical, the key characteristic is they all have an issue. So we don't buy houses, we buy problems, we solve problems, kind of thing. And so I bought houses from judges, and I bought houses from people they sent to prison, and all kinds of other people. In all cases, there was a situation that didn't afford them to use a traditional source for reselling the property or selling the property. So they found my ad, they found my letter, postcard, whatever it is, saw my infomercial on TV, whatever caused them to call me. But then through a series. Negotiation starts with advertising. But once we actually have a live person that we can start negotiating with, then we pace them and we mimic them and we use some neurolinguistics and communicate a style that causes them to own the idea of selling it to us at a reduced value. So we can actually make money at the end of the day, solve their problems. And it's a win-win for both parties.
When somebody initially calls you or one of your team members, what are the first questions that you ask to quickly qualify if it's going to be a deal that's worth pursuing and learning more about?
Sure. There's four. The first question is, do you have a house that you're hoping to sell? A lot of folks will call you just to wonder what we do and how we do it and why we do it. Second question is it listed with a real estate professional? If it is, we kick it. We ask them to call us back when it's not listed. We don't entice them to cancel their listing agreement. That's not fair to a real estate professional. The third question is, what do they think it's worth? Fourth question is, what do they want to sell it for? And the third and the fourth question are asked in a way that causes the value to be perceived by the seller in what we do. So I don't just ask, what do you think it's worth, and ask how much you want to sell it for. There's a whole bunch of dialogue that goes on between those two questions. But when I get those four questions and they're answered correctly, then I'll set the appointment immediately. So, what time tomorrow between 10 and 4, or 10 or 4 would be good for me to come out and buy your house. We use a lot of embedded commands and pacing and on-purpose dialogue. Give sellers alternate choice questions so they can't move away from the script or the dialogue that we want. And we set appointments with qualified parties. We don't set appointments with people that aren't qualified. We don't need to practice this. So we want to go out and buy houses. And based upon those first four questions, we know we actually have a candidate.
What's an example of an ultimate choice question?
What time tomorrow would be good for me to come out and buy your house? 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock. So they have a choice. They have 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock. They may say 5 o'clock. What I have found is if someone's motivated to sell a property, it's much like if you just broke your arm. They're going to run to the emergency room, and they're going to say, my arm's broken. The people that say, well, I'll make a doctor appointment whenever it's convenient for me. Those aren't motivated people. And we want highly motivated people that need to sell a house, that understand what we do, that also understand that they're not going to use a traditional means for selling a house. We don't buy houses that realtors can list. It's not that the house can't be listed. The seller doesn't want the house listed. And so we solve problems and create win-wins for everybody.
Michael, what is your best real estate investing advice ever?
Start. Jump off the fence, get going. This business is, you can be tall or short or fat or skinny or ugly or cute, guy or girl. You can be an immigrant. You can be born in America. It doesn't matter. You can have an accent so hard that you're the only one that understands you. The reality is if you just have desire and will and start, you'll be a massive income earner. So just go out there and do it. It's not hard. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Just put yourself out there, ask the questions, embarrass yourself a little bit, become uncomfortable with what you're doing, and that's okay, but just start.
Can somebody start with a limited budget, and if so, how much and what do they spend it on? And then, I'll stop with that, and then I have a follow-up question.
Yeah, you can actually start this business with $0. You can have negative dollars, so you can be in debt. The reality is marketing is a required component of any successful business, but marketing can be sweat marketing or paid marketing. So if you don't have any money to buy something and to advertise what you do, you've got to get out there and tell everybody what you do. And so you don't need any money. You absolutely don't need money to buy houses. Why wholesalers wholesale is beyond me, because if they just knew how to buy a house without funds. Because, we have seller financing, sub-2 financing. We have option financing. We have equity lenders, and we have hard money lenders. We have all kinds of opportunity to buy houses when we don't have money. And as long as we're contracting at the right price, the money will find the deal anyway. So don't let no one should let not having money stop them from being a successful real estate investor. It'll slow you down a little bit, but that's okay. No one's going to go out there and run the marathon the first day of practice. So get going, start, and don't let your mental roadblocks hold you up. Just crash through them.
To be a successful wholesaler or wholesaler, how much time is needed, and can you do that on a part-time basis while keeping a full-time job?
Yeah, I mean, even when it's a primary job, it's still part-time. I mean, part-time is relevant to someone's action and what they want to do in life. Most people will, once they understand how to do this and that they can have exponential growth and magnify their growth, they'll leave whatever day thing that they're already doing kind of stuff, because that's not fun anymore. I mean, the difference between a $30,000 check and a $1,000 check working the same amount of hours is kind of ridiculous. So most people choose the $30,000 check. So it's limited time, or it's all time. It's all really dependent upon what someone wants. I mean, if someone wants to go out there and make, I call it the $324,000 rule, buy a house a month, $27,000 a deal, doing a hotel deal, you're gonna make $324,000. Your first year doing it, you don't have to know anything about what you're doing when you start. Just start, understand negotiation and marketing, and put some houses under contract, sell them. Your second year, you're going to do $500,000. It's pretty simple. Third year, you're not going to make any more money because you're going to be spending the $500,000 enjoying life. And that's a pretty good life for a lot of folks. And if you want to do more, do more. If you want to stay there, stay there. Change your life, change people's lives that know you, love you, your family, your friends. Go buy some houses.
You ready for the best ever lightning round?
Sure. This has been fun.
Best ever book you've read?
Oh, that's easy, the Bible.
Best ever personal growth experience and what you've learned from it?
Getting on stage, and I think I lost 5 pounds waiting to get on stage. What I learned from it is internal fear is foolish. Anytime you're afraid of anything that you have control over is stupid, and don't do it.
Best ever success habit you practice?
I just do it. I'm a guerrilla investor. I don't let anything in my way. I figure if I don't know something, I figure out how to do it. So I'm absolutely not the guy that worries about falling down and bruising my knees.
Best ever deal you've done?
Oh, the last one. So before the last one, it was the last one. So that's what it is. They're all normal. They're all average. Some of them make more money than the other ones, but really it's the last one, and it's going to be the next one. So, I have an abundance and prosperity mentality, so I don't look at a deal and get excited about that. I look at life and get excited about that.
Best ever quote?
I love you.
What's the biggest mistake you've made in real estate?
Being afraid to turn the faucet off.
Can you elaborate?
So, there's times in our lives that we think we have the Superman cape on and big old S on our chest and stop bullets and trains and all that kind of stuff. Reality is if we don't have a stop loss, and understanding what a stop loss in business is, and knowing that when you get to your stop loss, to turn the faucet off, stop doing what you're doing because it's not working. I think it's Einstein had the idea of insanity is if you keep doing something expecting a different result. It's kind of the thing. Turn it off, stop it, change, do something different, but know how to quantify that. Understand that there are rules and systems that you have to have in place that tell you that, hey, you're doing it wrong when no one knows. You don't even know, but the systems will tell you.
And Michael, what's the best ever place to reach you?
MichaelQuarles.com kind of thing, or yellowletters.com. I'm pretty internet out there kind of stuff. Buy, sell, fix, flip. We do blogs and podcasts there. Easy to get a hold of.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show and sharing your advice with the best ever listeners on very practical and actionable ways to get going, and not only, as you call it, wholetailing, but then also just the psychological foundation that's important for any investor across any real estate strategy. So appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Great. Enjoyed it.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.